So what I've done with the info, and y'all, I feel like this video is going to be long, so I may do two parts. But what I've done with that info is that um, one, I've stopped telling myself that it didn't happen to me because I know that's what made me bury it. Because I was like, you know what? He didn't fully succeed, so I can't be out here claiming like I was assaulted because there's people out here who actually have been raped. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to be disrespectful. Um, but again, I had to be real with myself because I'm like, something changed in that room that night. You know, a whole shift in my mindset changed. I mean, happened. A whole shift happened, and it led me down a path that I really could have did without. But time has been a healer. It took me a minute to be okay with what God was showing me with that, because sometimes you can go through a thing but still not have processed it. And I've learned too that when you become more in a safe space, no matter how long ago something happened to you, that thing will start to come up out of you. You will start to find yourself rethinking it, replaying it more so. And what that does is get you to process it. And so if you're ever in a situation where you feel like some old stuff is starting to pop up in your mind, you're not understanding, take it as God is trying to heal you from it. Take it as God is trying to show you something. And also allow yourself to process it. Allow yourself to process it fully. Even if you got to play the whole thing out. I know that's hard for some people. It is hard replaying stuff that you don't want to think about, but it may actually be so much healing in that. So I would encourage you to allow yourself to just sit with something for a while if you went through something traumatic. Um, and with me healing through this process of me being abstinent, I did this mainly because I wanted to honor God. But y'all, I have been able to honor myself with this path. I've gained so much clarity because of me taking a step back from that, um, which is beautiful. And if I'm being honest with y'all, I could never be a virgin again. But when I tell y'all that I feel like God is setting me back, like he's not in a bad way, like he's resetting me. Like I'm going back to my default settings. That's what it feels like. I feel like I'm anew. And so when you've reached that point in your journey, it's almost like you feel like you can conquer anything for sure. Like it that's what it feels like. And I know it took God to show me that about myself, to clear out that stuff so that I can walk in what he's called me to do. And yeah, sex is not the same for me. Sex is not the same for me. It definitely has become more of a thing that I want to do to honor God and not to please my flesh. That's why I'm able to wait to marriage. Um, I'm not gonna say it's always easy because I'm still a woman. you know, my body still does what it do, but it has become more of a distant thought. And y'all, if I keep looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I want to make sure I stay on track. But I'm gonna tell y'all how different my mind is now. Before, sex was like it was like one of the first things I thought about when I met a man. Or even if I heard somebody say like a joke, my mind would go to the gutter. Like that's how I thought. Plus, it didn't help y'all. I worked in a place where I worked with mostly men, and I worked there for almost 12 years. So, hearing their conversations didn't help either. It just emptied up. So, yeah. Um, but what has helped me the most for my mind to be reverted to a more pure thought process. Um, One, I started paying attention to what I feed my spirit. Like music for sure has changed. Um, I do still listen to some R&B, neo soul, but if it becomes like a bit too sexual, I will change the song. Like I'm not about to sit here and listen to how y'all did y'all thing. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, if y'all, they're not strictly talking about love or maybe any other thing that's going on in the world, I'm not gonna listen to it. And then rap, I don't listen to secular rap anymore. If I do hear it, I'm probably around somebody who's playing it, but I'm not gonna play it myself. Um, I actually have traded that for Christian rap, and that has helped a lot. Now, I know there'd be some controversy about some of the rap, the Christian rap, but I'll be honest with y'all. Uh, when I go to the gym, I be needing something, because the worship music, I tried it, y'all. The worship music had me about to lose myself in the gym, like I was about to catch the ghost. And so, Christian rap really has helped me in the gym. Um, so that's how my mind has been able to stay more on a pure side of thinking. And it's so crazy because now when people say sexual jokes, y'all, it's so funny. I don't even think of anything sexual first. It takes me a minute to catch on. I'm like, okay, God, I see you doing your thing, because I'm telling y'all, my mind process was bad before. Like, for real. I feel like I was walking around here like a man. So, like a man who isn't honoring God, because I ain't gonna say like all men. I don't want to put that label on everybody. But yeah, so that's what's helping me to stay on this path. But also too, if I ever feel like my body is doing a thing, I'm feeling a way, I will surrender it to God. It's not always easy, because sometimes I'm embarrassed. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But it's gotten easier. So now I'll be like, okay, God, you know what I'm feeling? Take this thing away, because I want to honor you. I want to honor myself. And I even want to honor my husband, my future husband, because this is another thing too, y'all. If I don't take the time out to honor my future husband by staying abstinent, I will not be in alignment with him. I will not be in alignment with God. And here's another thing too, for you ladies who may be on the same journey as me. Also, it's important that your future husband is aligning himself with God, and that he's honoring his body, and he's honoring himself and God by being abstinent. Because if he does not honor his own body, he will not honor yours. So that is something that I learned from somebody else. I don't remember, y'all. I've learned so much. But when they said that, it stuck with me, because I used to think like, okay, I'm going to be abstinent. I'm not going to, stress about him being abstinent, because that's his journey, not mine. You know what I'm saying? But somebody had to tell me like, no, if he dishonors his own body, he's not going to honor yours. Then on top of that, he's not really in alignment with God if he's still out here doing that thing. And I'm just like, okay. And they also told me, y'all getting married isn't going to magically heal that. So, yeah. So, to end this video, I'm going to say that being abstinent has been eye-opening. It has allowed me to align with God. It has allowed me to start walking in the calling that God has called me to. Because I'm going to tell y'all this. Since I've been abstinent, God has led me to quit a job that I was at for 12 years. He's led me to go back to school. And I feel like there's so many other things that has happened, but I'm just going to keep it there for now. I'm just going to say where I'm at right now. You couldn't have told me at this time last year that I was going to be here. You couldn't have told me this at all. I know I probably would have been like, whatever. But y'all, he has brought me so far in such a short amount of time. And I'm really living in an answered prayer. It is not perfect, but it's glorifying unto God. And I couldn't be more joyful. Also, let me tell y'all, I had some friends at that old school. And before I talk about the friends, let me just say that experience with me being at that school, I had a hard time thinking about that time in my life, because I would instantly feel like a failure, for one, because I didn't finish school the first time. But also too, I guess there was that trauma attached to it too. I just didn't recognize it for what it was for the longest. But yeah, I had a hard time even thinking about that time in my life. And when I had to do the things to get into school again this time, yeah, I thought I was gonna be able to keep it simple. I thought, okay, I just call the school, ask them to email my transcript, it's gonna get taken care of. Y'all, the whole time of me, waiting to be accepted into the school I'm in now, the old school I went to, they weren't sending the transcript. I don't know what was happening, but something wasn't. It was like a disconnect somewhere. And so it was literally, y'all, a few days before the semester started at my new school. And I was like, I have to do something, because I'm not going to let this promise that you've given me just go past me. I had already quit my job. I ain't got no other plans. Literally, school is it for me. And if it don't happen, I don't know what's going to happen. So I had to take it up on myself. I'm like, I'm going to have to go to this school, because that's the only other way that I know that I can get into this new school. So y'all, I'm headed to this old school again. I ain't been there since 2011. Let me tell you, I had a hard time getting there. My body was tensing up as I was driving. I thought I was going to have to just pull over for a minute. I even thought about going to the ER, because my body was tensing up. It was starting to lock up, and I could feel my blood pressure rising. And I was just like, oh God, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. But y'all, it was all God that got me to that school. Because when I tell y'all, I was gonna turn around a few times, but I kept pushing, and I made it there. And y'all, the craziest thing happened to me once I got there. It was like I felt this big ball of relief as I was walking around the school. Yeah, the old memories were coming up, but it was like healing at the same time. And I never thought I was going to step foot on that campus ever again. But God took me back there. And I know now that he took me back there to gain more healing, to show me that I've actually have grown past that. And so, so walking around the campus again, I'm headed to the office to get my transcript. And so, and I may tell about that process too eventually, because there was God's hand on that too. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, I was able to go to that school, do what I had to do. And also the healing from this situation has allowed me to reconnect with some of those old friends that I had there. Not that guy, for sure not him. But it was at least like 3 solid people that I met while I was there. And I remember a couple of them actually tried to get me to link up with them since that time. But y'all, I could never agree to go, because something in me kept saying like, nah. Again, I'm not realizing that one incident was what was still in me. But yeah, so by the grace of God, y'all, I've been not only been able to reconnect with them online, I was able to go meet up with them just a few days ago. And it was the conversation with them was just so healing altogether. I got to share with them why I fell off. And the beautiful thing is they just received me. They just received me well. And I couldn't have asked for a better first meetup, because they could have said all kinds of things, but they were very understanding. And one of the ladies, she didn't even know that it happened. Like, well, she knew of it, but she didn't know to the extent of what happened. Now, the other lady, she actually was the one who was in the room who decided like, hey, let me get out of here. So, but just talking to them about what happened and just talking about how that affected me and how it led me to down this path that I've been on, and now where I'm at now, it was so, it was just so much revelation in that. So much revelation, so much healing, so much clarity. And now I get to enjoy the fruits of rekindling this friendship, because now we have made a point to link up at least once every couple of months. And I'm just grateful because making friendships in your adulthood is just as important as making friends when you're young. Um, I'm grateful that they didn't experience me during the time that I was out here doing my thing, because I feel like I probably would have lost them all over again, to be honest, because I was on such a different path than where they are, you know. So, but yeah, God is doing his big one. God is doing his big one in my life. He has shown me a lot. I pray this video has been so helpful, so clarifying. Um, and I just wanted to share this because if you're on an abstinent journey, you're not by yourself. And if I could encourage you to do anything, I would encourage you to get closer to God. Get closer to God, because he's going to be able to show you the things that you didn't even know were in you. And when you are in the process of healing and eliminating the things that held you back, there's so much more purpose for you ahead. And I'm just, again, I'm speaking from experience. I'm living in a purpose, y'all. I'm living in calling. And it's light. It's light. If I could give it one word, it's light. It does not mean that my journey is always easy. What that means is I have a God that I can surrender my things onto. And so even the stuff that's supposed to be heavy that I used to carry all the time, I don't carry it anymore. Matter of fact, I easily give it to God because I don't want to carry it no more. Not at all. So that's my story for now. And I will see y'all in the next video.